forward to tonight's plenary session, Animals and Religion, Finding and Challenging the Connections. This is an amazing panel. I think we're all going to learn a lot. The format is each speaker is going to speak for 20 minutes, and then we'll turn it over for Q&A at the end. I'm excited about all these speakers and all the scholarship and papers that they've written. I know we'll have a lot to learn from it. One of the themes this year was talking about the intersections of religion and species, and I think that all of them have done it and really come from different backgrounds and done it really interesting and amazing ways. So just if you're looking at your schedule, we're going to flip the order a little bit, and I'm going to introduce everyone, but I'll do it in the order they're going to speak. So first I want to introduce, and if you could just raise your hand when I introduce you, James Meyer. His paper is Animal Rights Welfare, from an Animal Rights / Welfare, from an Islamic and philosophical perspective. James is currently a student at MCTC and has lived in Minnesota for almost 5 decades. As an ordained minister for 21 years, he served 3 different congregations in Minnesota and Wisconsin. But in 1969, during the height of the Vietnam War, he was drafted by the military and refused to serve, citing conscientious objection, believing an undeclared war was an invasion and unconstitutional. His faith ultimately unraveled, but in 2010 he began teaching ESL with mostly Muslim students and presently finds himself at home in Islamic thought and faith. After him we'll be hearing from Cheryl Abate. Did I say your name? Abate. Sorry. I might say it wrong. Cheryl Abate. It's much prettier that way. And her talk is entitled Bridging the Gap Between Theory and Practice, How to Encourage Concern for Animals and Christianity Today. Cheryl is a PhD student in Marquette University's philosophy department. She has focused on animal ethics throughout her graduate career and has presented a number of times on animal ethics, consciousness, and animal theology. Cheryl obtained her master's at Colorado State University, where she studied under Bernard Rollin, who also advised her thesis. At CSU, Cheryl came up with the idea of an animal ethics conference titled Ignored Perspectives in Animal Ethics, which she coordinated, planned, and executed with the assistance of fellow graduate students. In addition to her philosophical work regarding non-human animals, she is an avid activist on behalf of non-human animals, and she volunteers for vegan outreach and Citizens United for Animals. Then we'll be hearing from Joey Tuminello. Did I say that correctly? Sorry. Joey's a PhD student in philosophy at the University of North Texas. He received his master's in philosophy at Colorado State University, writing a thesis under world-renowned animal ethicist Bernard Rollin, who evaluates the humanness of invasive species management techniques. Joey also works for the nonprofit organization Farm Forward, which promotes humane and sustainable agriculture. With Farm Forward, Joey has worked on a number of projects with organizations such as the ASPCA and CIWF, as well as with Jonathan Safran-Foer, author of Eating Animals, to reform industrial agriculture and to better the lives of animals. And our last talk will be, last but not least, will be Sarah Jane Bloom, and her talk is entitled Losing My, in parentheses, Civil Religion. Sarah Jane has been active in the animal rights movement since the mid-1990s and is the co-founder of GourmetCruelty.com. She currently serves on the boards of Support Vegans in the Prison System and New York City's Empty Cages Collective. She is lead plaintiff in Bloom v. Holder, a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act. So, without further ado, I will turn it over to you and let James get the talk started.